Welcome to GFLC Kids Ministry. It is so good to have you tuning in with us today. Today, we are going on another journey. And we are going to hear about Nehemiah. He is such an interesting Bible character. And our topic for today is called Return and Rebuild. Yay! So guys, let's head off to Jerusalem. Yay! One day, Nehemiah's brother came running to him. Nehemiah, Jerusalem is in serious trouble. Now, bearing in mind, God's family was all from Israel. And in the city of Israel, it was called Jerusalem. So God's people was all from Jerusalem. And what had happened at this stage? There was a whole lot of burning and a whole lot of fires and a whole lot of walls falling down. So what happened was Jerusalem had burnt down and broken down, and the wall of Jerusalem had collapsed. And what burdened Nehemiah so much was the fact that he was from there. And that was his people, God's people, and therefore he felt burdened or troubled, and he really had to figure out something to help his people. And what he had done that night, because he was no longer living in Jerusalem, a lot of them were forced all the way out, and they had to be slaves in various different areas, and he had to move to Persia. He was a cupbearer, so he would give the king his wine to drink. So he was a cupbearer, and this night he thought, how am I ever going to speak to the king about my burden? And what he had done, he bowed down to God and he said, Father, you are a wonderful, wonderful God, and your family needs you. Can you please make a way for me to find favor in the king's eyes, that I may be granted leave, so that I may be able to go and help my people rebuild the wall? That day, Nehemiah, while bearing the cup for the king, was very sad. Nehemiah, yes, king, why are you so sad today? Surely you are not sick? No, master, I am not sick, but my family needs me. They are in serious trouble. And I ask that I may please be pardoned and head off to Jerusalem to go and rebuild the wall for my people. But I ask not only that request, I also need some security to pass by various towns, and I also need some equipment to help rebuild the wall. Sure, Nehemiah, you may go. Oh, faithful God, this is only you that could have done this, and you know why. Nehemiah could have died by asking the king if he could leave. But God. What then happened was Nehemiah and his various people traded off to various towns, and they went through to Jerusalem. They got there, damaged, burnt, broken down, just ruined. I looked. God, only you can give me strength to rebuild this wall. And in every story, there's a villain. There came these two evil people, and they came and mocked Nehemiah. He says, you're never going to rebuild this. Go back, you crazy being. Go on, get out from here. And what they did was they tried to discourage Nehemiah from rebuilding the wall. Nehemiah prayed, Lord, please give me the strength to finish what I came here for. And God granted Nehemiah the ability to persevere, and he carried on with all his men that were helping him. And again those villains returned. Nehemiah, I wish your hands would fall off. I wish that you would no longer be able to work on these walls. But God gave Nehemiah the ability for his hands to be strengthened. He gave him strength in his hands and that of his men. Nehemiah, I'm going to get you, says these two evil men. And they went back to their town. And you know what? The audacity. There was a priest that called Nehemiah and said, Nehemiah, I have a word from God for you. And the priest said to Nehemiah, God had said that you have to go back to the temple, go and hide yourself in the temple, because there you will be protected. Priest, surely God will never let man sin. This is a place of prayer, so this is only for worship, not to hide ourselves. Something is fishier. What do you think was the problem? You guessed it. These two evil men had actually paid the priest to say that he had received a word from God. Now, how bad is that? The priest said, Nehemiah, please forgive me. Please forgive me. They made me do it. They said they'll give me money and I had no choice. But God had saved Nehemiah from 3 disastrous situations under severe pressure. Name calling, paying a priest, asking for his hands to be burdened. But God helped Nehemiah to push through. And you know what the story sounds like? Sounds like Nehemiah is a very, very good hero for his people because he prayed and he really just stood his ground. And finally these evil villains decided, I had enough, I'm taking him out. Off they went. And they went to go and fetch all their men and said, tomorrow we attack and take down those walls. But there was a little birdie sitting and listening to the conversation. What are they going to do? Nehemiah! Nehemiah! These guys want to ruin you. They're coming tomorrow. What are we going to do? All our hard work. What are we going to do? Relax, my friend. We will sort something out. And what he did was he organized all his men to get spears. They went on top of the walls and morning came. Those evil guys were there and they did, where did they get all these weapons from? How did they know we're coming? But God had sent that man to overhear the enemy's plan and they were saved. Do you know what the good news is? It took them less than 2 months to sort out that wall. 52 days. 52 days only. So, that was a successful story. Let us move on to an object lesson. So, what do we have here? A big balloon? No. Big balloon? Yes. Big and small balloon, but what's different? This one has water. Let's pretend that this is us. One is heavy, smaller. One is big and lighter. This is a candle. We got some matches and we just quickly going to light this, right? This is life. Life brings all kinds of pressures. So, this is an empty balloon, not filled with God's presence, not filled with the Word of God. And when placed under extreme pressure, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's going to survive? If any of you want to close your ears, you better do it now. No, I don't think it's going to pop. Let's have a look. Let's see what happens when it's placed under peer pressure, threats of life, sickness, anger, unforgiveness, and all kinds of things. Let's see. Woo! Pop. And that's what happens. We can't take it anymore. And we just go, boom! But God. So, we fill ourselves up with the Word of God and we fill ourselves up with the presence of God. And what do you think is going to happen? So guys, this is me, this is you, filled with the presence of God. Let's see what happens when it's filled with all the pressure. All the pressure. Who is prepared to get wet? You better get your raincoats. The pressure's on. The pressure's on. The pressure's on. It's right in. The pressure's in. God saves us. I can put this right in to the flame and nothing will happen because God holds us together. God holds all things together. So, my friends, I trust that you've enjoyed our lesson today and that you will fill yourselves up with the Word of God and with fresh fire. Have a wonderful day and I'll see you next time. Bye!